Hi, my name is Adam Marshall. I'm an account manager here at eThereLIVE, the streaming division of Soundbox. My specialty here is live multicam sports, and I've been doing that since about 2012. This year, we're providing production services for both the Niagara River Lions and the Brampton Honey Badgers. We meet with representatives from both the teams and the league office, just kind of identify any unique needs or challenges that they might have for the season. And then we get on site and do a site visit. We'll determine where our camera positions are going to be, where the commentators will be, where our cable runs will go, and how long those cable runs need to be. We take that plan back and put it together into a quote, multiply that out by 10 regular season games. From there, we get those dates into our production calendar, and then the next step is booking crew. So we're really lucky at eThereLIVE to have a really deep roster of freelance camera operators and directors and replay operators. And that allows us to, for the most part, try and have a consistent crew game to game. So we've got the same people coming in and they can develop some chemistry, develop some good habits, and put on a good show week after week. So on a game day for a typical 7 p.m. tip-off, let's say, we'll usually arrive at the venue as early as like 10, 11 in the morning. First thing we'll do is lay all of our cable, as that's basically the most time-consuming part of our setup process. Then we'll park and power our rig, get everything plugged in, get connected to the internet. And then as early in the day as possible, we like to start sending signal to CEBL master control just to make sure that they're receiving us and that there's no issues there. From there, we move on to setting up our cameras, setting up our commentator microphones. We'll move on down to the floor and set up both our commentator position and our referee review position. So in the CEBL, whenever there's a coach's challenge, the referees will hop on a headset and look at a monitor, and our replay operators will work with them to give them the best looks to get the call right on the floor. As we get a little bit closer to tip-off, about an hour, sometimes hour and a half out, our director will meet with all of the talent, the play-by-play and color commentator, and the sideline reporter. And they'll review specifically what pregame is going to look like, what we're going to talk about, go over some of our pregame graphics, our pregame interviews with the coach, and just sort of review the script and make sure that everybody's on the same page with all of the elements that we need to execute for that game. Once the broadcast starts, most of the production does flow through that director position. So that person obviously does play a very important role in keeping the whole show together and keeping it on track. They're in communication with the talent and all the camera operators and with our assistant director who helps keep them on time with commercial breaks. Right next to them is a replay operator. Again, we need a dedicated replay operator for CEBL. One, because there's just a lot of replays to fit into the show, but also because of that referee review system that we touched on earlier. It kind of requires a dedicated operator to be able to communicate with the refs and give them all the looks that they need. From there, we move on to our camera operators. Again, we're very lucky here to have a very deep roster of talented camera operators, people who know basketball well, which goes a long way. And we're able to have a pretty consistent crew game over game so that we can all kind of develop some good chemistry, develop some good habits, and put on a good show. Some of the things that go into making a good quality basketball broadcast are obviously camera work. The skill of the camera operators is very obvious to the viewer at home, so you want to make sure that you've got good quality pros who understand the game and can follow smoothly and zoom in nice and smoothly where needed and just make the broadcast look professional. The director and the talent also being in communication and being in sync with each other and on track also goes a long way, making sure that things are happening intentionally and on time. Other little details like having your cameras all matched up, making sure that the color and exposure on all of them is kind of equal so that when you're cutting around between cameras, there's no kind of jarring differences between one angle and the next. Of course, audio is super important, especially here at Soundbox. We take a lot of pride in the quality of the audio on our broadcasts as well. So with basketball, that means making sure you can hear a little bit of the floor. You want to hear the squeaks and the ball, and you also want to hear the commentators nice and loud at all times as well. So using a little bit of compression and limiting to keep that signal nice and loud so that for viewers at home, they're not constantly having to turn their TV up or down and kind of chase that volume. We want to keep it at one kind of steady level at all times.
Moore, swing pass. Davis, can he stay hot? He can't. Collected there, bounced around, Rye underneath, up and in. Aaron Rye making an impact in his second game in a River Lions jersey.
So another sign of a good kind of professional broadcast is just kind of how the broadcast opens or begins. You want to make sure that, again, you're starting with intention and that you're hitting your intro, you're hitting your reporter or your commentator's first cue on time. and that the intro feels like something that was planned and put together on purpose, rather than, say, if you might watch like a high school broadcast or something, you might see the live stream just randomly start and it's just a shot of the field and the commentators just chime in whenever they want. We obviously don't do that. We want to make sure that the intro is professional, and we want it to look intentional, and we want to kind of start things off on the right foot. So that's a little bit about what goes into producing our CEBL basketball season. If you have a sporting event or a corporate event or anything for that matter that requires live stream or AV support, feel free to reach out to us at eThereLIVE.com or soundboxpro.com.